the door that only opens at midnight. Theo hadn't even noticed the door when he first moved in. His new apartment was old, like wood creaks for no reason, and the lights flicker when it rains, kind of old. But it was cheap, and after his last breakup, he wasn't exactly in a place to be picky. It wasn't until his second week that he really saw it, tucked behind a bookshelf in the bedroom, nearly the same color as the wall. A door frame, no handle, no hinges. Just a narrow rectangle of slightly darker wood set into the brick. He ran his fingers along it. It didn't budge. It didn't even feel like a real door. When he asked the landlord, the man shifted uncomfortably, avoided eye contact. That night, Theo couldn't sleep. It was just after midnight when he first heard it click, soft and deliberate, like a lock turning. Then faintly a creak, not loud, but just enough to make him sit up in bed. He stared at the wall. The door hadn't changed. Still shut. Still fake. Probably the neighbors or the pipes. The next night it happened again. Click, creak. Theo sat up, heart beating harder this time. He turned on the light, walked over, touched the frame. Still cold, still sealed. But then he noticed something different, the bookshelf. It had shifted slightly, just an inch, as if the wall behind it had moved. On the third night, Theo stayed up with a cup of coffee and his phone camera aimed at the wall. At exactly 12 a.m., the air in the room was still, like everything was holding its breath. And this time, the door opened, only a little, just enough for the crack to show blackness behind it. Not shadows, nothingness. Theo froze. His phone buzzed in his hand. When he looked down, it had turned off. Dead battery. Impossible. It had been at 90% 5 minutes ago. The next morning, the door was shut again. He tried pushing it, even knocking. Nothing. Not even a sound. That day, he asked around the building. No one had anything to say, at least, not out loud. An older woman on the second floor just stared at him and made the sign of the cross. A delivery guy told him flat out, "People don't stay long in that unit." I wouldn't either. By now, Theo was obsessed. He moved the bookshelf completely out of the way, put up a camera on a tripod. He even taped a line across the crack of the door so he could tell if it moved. Midnight came. Click. The tape snapped clean in half. The door swung open wider. This time, Theo saw something. A hallway, narrow, covered in a thin layer of ash, with walls lined in mirrors, but the reflections weren't bright. They moved slightly slower than him, or faster, or not at all. One mirror showed him sleeping. Another showed him watching the mirror itself, eyes hollow and sunken. One showed him smiling, but the smile didn't stop, even when he turned his head. He should have run. Instead, he stepped inside. The second his foot touched the hallway floor, the door slammed shut behind him. The mirrors flickered, and all the versions of him turned to look directly at him, every one of them smiling. He screamed. No one heard him. The apartment stayed quiet after that. The door didn't open the next night, or the next. But a week later, across town, someone else found a strange door in their basement wall. No knob, no hinges. Just a soft click when the clock struck midnight, and the whispers began again.